champ is here.
We will definitely not shut up and dribble.
The champ is here. I must be the greatest. The champ is here.
I'm going to continue to stand with the people.
The champ is here.
I will not lose.
I'm a bad man. I shook up the world.
Yes, welcome. You could have been anywhere in the world, but you're here with we. My name is EJ, and I got my man.
MH.
Yes. He is the DB of the show. And you know what it is, man. We bring you back inside the locker room. We talk about topics in and around the game. MH, you ready to do this?
Yes, sir.
Man, come on, man. It's a glorious, glorious day. It's that Christmas in July type feel. Football is back. And, as we release this episode, some of you can prep, or maybe you're watching this episode while you got the TV on mute in the background. But, the NFL has its storied Hall of Fame game, enshrinement weekend. And while I'm excited, I guess I'm going to – well, first I'll wait. How excited are you, MH? Let's gauge your excitement. Let's start with that.
Oh, it's the best time of year, man. We love the NFL on this show, and we love football in general. And both being former football athletes, I know when you can kind of feel it in the air a little bit, as Phil Collins.
Phil Collins,
yeah, where you get, that where you can smell the grass, and it just doesn't go away quickly. That kind of itch of football season, and yeah, I'm excited it's here. I'm looking forward to a good season, a lot of good conversations around it.
Man, it's been like 5 months, right, since we crowned the champion, right? So can you believe like it's been 5 months? Some days it feels like it, but when you're so close, it's like, man, it seems like it flies by, right?
It does, and I think the league and, really college football, really everybody has done a really good job of kind of keeping it keeping the offseason short when it comes to, once the Super Bowl is done, you get right into transfer portal in college game, or you get into combine, and then next thing you know, it's the draft, and then spring ball, and before you know the season is here. We're at where we're at. So they've done a really good job. And then, for everybody else, I'm sure they're looking forward to their fantasy drafts if they haven't already had them already. So it's a good time of year.
And you point out two good things, right? Like they definitely keep it consistent. And then outside of the league, right, because of the momentum of what the Shield has done and just football, like you mentioned, college, it's the ancillary things, right? So now we got another season of quarterback, right? We have, these other kind of shows that are around the sports, right? So Irish, I think, kicked off something that they do on the Peacock series, or one of the streaming series, but the Irish are doing something. And then you have the little small things that are getting put out. So they make sure we have it. And then, we always laugh, or I always joke, we got the USFXSL, whatever that thing is.
Whatever that is. Shout out to them.
Shout out to them, right? Hey, at least they keep trying, right? They keep trying, putting something forward. But, it's something to keep us going through that long time. And, yeah, fantasy is up, right? So getting your scout, some people, excited, already have their fantasy drafts and things like that. Some people wait a little bit through preseason, see if they can get their scouting game on. So that's something we're going to ask on the live show, man. Are you doing any fantasy this year?
I always say I'm going to retire every year. I don't really pick now with my brain. I pick kind of with my heart, and that can cost you down the line. So we'll see. I think you kind of have to do it. I feel like I've been doing it since college, but at the same time, I would love to just have peace of mind watching a football game and not, cheer like, dang, we getting beat, but cool. He got me. Yeah,
he got me on these points.
Yeah, I don't know if I really want to deal with that again. I'm getting a little too much gray to do that, so maybe I should just chill.
I'm with you. And we keep teasing the people, man. We got to give the people what they want, but they haven't really stood up and really pushed the issue. We did talk about doing the Black and Sports League.
Yeah, I said I was just about to say, unless we do it on this platform and start one,
then it's over there. You
then we got to do it. But outside of that, we might have to be putting the jersey in the rafters.
I'm with you on that. And that's what it was so funny. I got asked to be on a couple leagues, And I just tell them no. I like, because hey, but
I haven't been asked, so like that's dope. That you can be like, nah, I'm not gonna do it.
But that's the thing, right? Because we come from that competitive nature, man, and like just the good things that we like about the NFL and the moves and the changes and the things like that. The bad part is, man, it's got too many damn games, man. When we first started doing this shit, man, it was Monday night and Sunday. Now you got Monday football, Thursday football, you got Sunday. Then once it comes to like the winter, you got Saturday games. You got international games that start at like 7 a.m. for us in Vegas, right? So it's none of that shit I forgot to say.
And I would love if you could take your team across multiple platforms, but you might have a quarterback in this league and then he's not on this team and you think, I should be winning this. No, it's just too much. Thank you. EJ, you've further convinced me that it is time to hang it up.
So unless and for us to do that, we got to get a sponsor. Once we get a sponsor for the Black Sports Football League, then we'll set it up.
Right on. Do that.
I love it. So, but that's all the hype before, right? So that's the stuff that kind of keeps us going, keeps us engaged. And now here comes the real deal. And some people don't like the preseason. Some people don't, are not excited for that. But I am, right? Because I just know it's one step closer. It's the necessary evil, for right now, right? So how do you feel about preseason?
If you're watching the games for pure enjoyment content, then I wouldn't watch it for that, because I don't think you're going to get a very watered down version of what your teams are, what the game is. But I also do like kind of seeing, and it's really cool what college is doing now, where the players even more than you did before, where you can kind of see them a little bit, so to speak, in the preseason and adjusting to the NFL kind of world. So like I'm interested to see, just from well-off media and Dion and Prime, like Jimmy Horn. Would I have known who Jimmy Horn is outside of CU? Maybe not, but I'm excited to see him play in preseason, right? So I think for players like that, I think it's beneficial for sure.
And these media days are taking off, right? Like, it's so crazy that Big Ten Media Day was here in Las Vegas. That's true. Like, I was shocked. And I was like walking around the hotels. I was like, that's crazy. But they have the West Coast teams now. So I don't know if it's something where they're switching back and forth. But all of that is a part of, the process, right? Yeah. So we got to enjoy that process. Media day, preseason. But I am going to put my foot down. I do not like the Hall of Fame format with them playing the game on Thursday.
Oh, why not? With the
man, because one, the way my paycheck works, it's hard to get that day off Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And I know they want to make an enshrinement weekend, and like that game is a big deal, so that's maybe why they pushed it. But I just really like the fact of how they did all the pomp and circumstance and the pageantry, and then you capped it off with the game. And now that there's different mindsets of how they play the game, who they're showcasing when they're playing, they kind of put that before, and I just don't know if I really like that format. That they put together with putting the game first, and then doing some of the other entertainment things they do, and then have the speeches and all that be the capstone. So I get it, kind of, but I'm not a big fan of it.
Yeah, as you pointed out, it is different than it's been traditionally. And I don't know if I have an opinion either way about it. It's Hall of Fame weekend is one of those things like, dang, like football starts tomorrow type stuff, or tonight, or what, you know what I'm saying? Like it's always been, to me, it's always been kind of that form anyway. And I'm really more interested in the people that's making the Hall of Fame. So than the actual first preseason game. So yeah, I'm fine with it.
Well, let's jump into that then, man. So we got, it's interesting how they pick the Hall of Fame members and when they go in. So the people I have is Sterling, Shay Shay's older brother. And it's fun. That's weird timing, right? Like talking about still shine. We keep it on the up and up here in Black and Sports. So we're gonna celebrate Shannon Sharpe. which is famed Packer, right? Like, so that was interesting. That, and I guess I'll name off the rest of the teams to kind of get to my ultimate point. Antonio Gates, dope for him to go in. Jared Allen, they did Allen squared, right? So Jared Allen and then Eric Allen. So we both got some represent. So the DN is going in, and a beast of a cornerback is going in. And I think the fun thing, well, one I was going to say is usually they have like a representation of the two teams, of like some of the names going in, and it looks like only representation would be the Chargers, right?
Yeah, with Antonio Gates.
Yeah, so that's a little different this year.
Yeah, I always felt like it, and this is no disrespect to any of the, the class getting into the Hall of Fame, but I always felt like in the Hall of Fame there's like one or two guys that are like the headliners that, the teams that they're associated are kind of represented there, and I feel like this class is, relatively even.
Equal?
Yeah, equal.
Yeah, I'm on the same page with that.
Maybe that's what it is from a tier standpoint. I don't know.
I mean, you could say that Antonio Gates was like, he played high school, I think, in the Detroit area or Michigan area. So maybe that's your Detroit Lions. So let's get into it, right? And then we'll backtrack a little bit. So the game, July 31st, Hall of Fame game, is going to be between the Detroit Lions and the I was about to do it, and the LA Chargers, right? Because Antonio Gates was a San Diego Charger, but did he come back? Did he retire his jersey as a LA Charger? I don't remember how that kind of worked.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So, real interesting that these are the first times these teams have both been back since the 90s, right?
In the Hall of Fame game?
In the Hall of Fame game.
Mm-hmm.
So, it's interesting, like, how they choose them, because, like, we went back and said, well, they attempt to choose between, who's kind of getting inducted, right? Bring that fan base there to see the person get enshrined and watch the game. That's kind of like a little bit of the history of the push behind that, I guess, from a marketing business side. But this game, since the last time they played, when they played, they both had success in that season. So when Chargers played, they went to the Super Bowl that year. And then when Detroit played, they went to the NFC Championship. So it's just kind of like, is that the kind of guidance and momentum? Now, they both lost them.
Yeah, for sure.
But it's some positive momentum going in, right? Like, you always want storylines, right?
Yeah, I think, Detroit's kind of what's hot really in the NFC. So, that's not a bad choice. And their quarterback was on, never mind, I ain't gonna say that. But I think they showed his spouse a little bit more than they showed him on quarterback. Shout out to Jared Goff. But their quarterback was on TV as some of the shows that we mentioned, and Jim Harbaugh and the Chargers and their team. What kind of fan base he brings himself.
Facts.
There's two hot teams. I guess in the league right now. So
right. And then like looking at that, right? Like they came off of like a 12, 15 game, 15 wins last year. And they dropped the bag in the chip, but they're still hot, right? They still have all their pieces. But then their question goes into, and I'm pretty sure you're about to say this, is they lost both coordinators. So how are we thinking they're going to perform or they're going to look?
I think. Well, I shouldn't say that. I think talent is talent in the NFL, right?
Ooh,
they're you got to have the staff to cultivate the talent and build the culture correctly. And I think the head of the culture has not changed.
He's killed that.
Yeah, he knows what he's looking for and how they execute it. And I don't see them taking a lot of steps back. I honestly don't.
And they still got like you said, the talent, right? Where you can talk about the talent from the coaching level, but they also have the talent on the field. So
for sure.
And then there's Harbaugh, right? He's got in his his second year, whatever year it is.
Second year.
Always makes that move, right? Whether it's back from his Utah days to 49ers, like he's always made like a really big leap in his second year. So a lot of people are kind of looking at that and seeing, oh, what's that going to look like? But his comment he made about his quarterback. He believes in his quarterback, where he said, the problem with Justin is that his team needs to play to his level. So I don't know how you take that, if that's a motivation thing that they had in front of the camp, or if that puts like more pressure on his quarterback. But those are just some of the things that, even just starting with this game, I think those kind of storylines will develop a little as the season goes.
Yeah, I guess we'll see. I didn't hear that or see that quote. I think his quarterback is really good, but yeah, we'll see what happens. I do think his quarterback is good. I might be on the minority on that. I think the dude is legit.
No, and I definitely think he's a top quarterback, right? Like, I mean, when you come, he was not thinking to play, and then Tyrod gets a needle in his chest, and then he's like, "Hey, man, you got to go." Like, whoa! And then the way he's just performed,
Yeah.
I think he's in that top tier, absolutely. All right,
Totally agree.
so just kind of, in the like wrapping it up sense of things, right? Football's back. We talked about the Hall of Fame game, but what is a moment from enshrinement weekend is like, who are they going to bring out? Like, who's going to induct them? And I really don't know all of these people intimately, but it's just going to be interesting of who they're going to bring out. Like, is it a coach? Is it a high school? Is it someone from the past, someone from the day, current day? So it's going to be interesting. Do you have any kind of thoughts on who's going to bring someone out, or who's going to have the best speech, or just kind of like one of those viral moments?
Yeah, I mean, I would probably start with the Sharpe brothers. I want to say, are they the first set of brothers to be in the Hall of Fame?
That's a great question.
I want to say they are, right?
Brothers, yes, right? Because the family lineage is usually like, oh, his dad or his great granddad, who played with the helmets with no face mask on, right? Like, but that may be that's a storyline that you really didn't hear, so that'd be cool.
Yeah, and they didn't come from means. They'd be the first ones to tell you their childhood, and so I'm sure we're gonna get some stories about raccoons and possums and what grandmother said and all
what
that. What
grandmama said, and they one bedroom.
Yeah. So I'm looking forward to just Shannon Sharpe and Sterling Sharpe, that combination of them getting in to the Hall of Fame, and then obviously Eric Allen being a guy that's here associated with the Raiders. He's obviously was a great player. I remember Eric Allen, honestly, not so much for the Raiders, but in the battles against the Cowboys and Eagles.
Yeah.
As growing up, Cowboys fan and a Michael Irvin fan, I definitely remember Eric Allen, number 21, being one of those guys, and how everybody liked his light skinned eyes. I don't know. I always hear that from my aunts and stuff like that. But anyway, like, I've had an opportunity to talk to Eric Allen a few times, and I think he's one that would talk to you about the game, and as a corner. For an elite corner to that level to actually sit down and kind of just trade bars and talk the game of football with me as somebody that I grew up watching. Like I'm really excited to see him get his due, and I'm excited about his speech. I don't know about who will bring him out, but I'm just excited for a corner to be there. And then Antonio Gates, he might ruin all my arguments when it comes to football athletes being better than basketball athletes, because this dude just picked up footballs in the Hall of Fame as one of the
played
best.
Basketball in college at a smaller college, at a max school, and you're like, man, I've never played this football thing. See what's to the Hall of Fame.
Now it's just here, so we'll have to see what that happens, but I'm looking forward to it all, and we'll see. But to answer your question, Sterling Sharpe would be the part of the weekend that I'm truly looking forward to seeing. He deserves it too. Like, the dude was a beast, and had it not be for that injury, I think he's been right up there with Jerry Rice and Terrell Owens and some of the all-time greats at the position. So I'm looking forward to that.
And I'm with you. Like, it's, sometimes you look at the list and you wonder, right? Like, you have to play let's go back and look at the stats. And like, I agree with the list of everybody that's on here this year. So that's going to be dope. And it's just good for them. Hope they enjoy the whole moment, right? Like, I think that's some of the things that we've talked to, other Hall of Famers that we've had on the show, are just who we've come in passing with, that's what they enjoy about the weekend, man. Just like any of us, right? Like if you go back to a high school or college, reunion or graduation or just kind of any homecoming event, if you played kind of sports, it's good just to get around and like share those old stories. Because if anybody has had a chance to be around Michael Irvin, when he gets around the boys and tells stories, he does not stop. And it's just hilarious to kind of see them in that element, to kind of just like kick back and do that and then just be celebrated on that weekend. So look, happy for them all, man. So like I said, it's a great class, like you said, even level class. So it's going to be interesting to see, what antics and what things go down when they get around some of their teammates.
No, it's funny, and we always talk about the athlete beyond the athlete and what they do after their careers. It's got to be a kind of I don't know, for some of these athletes to be, the headliner or the guy that everybody wants to see when you're playing, to being a former athlete or a former player, and people care or maybe not care about you, to actually be celebrated for what you did in your career later on post playing. It's got to be a wave of emotions that I'm sure that they all have dealt with. And I don't know if this is like the final resting place for your so-called your NFL career.
Right.
So I do I guess the man-to-man part of me kind of was like, hey, I wonder what their emotions are with all of that. I'm sure it's celebratory, but I'm sure there's like some this was a part of my identity for X amount of years. So I do pray for all them and their families and everybody they're associated with, that they take this honor and celebrate this honor and use this platform to continue to do what they're doing post playing careers.
And if you look at like the list, most of them really, I don't want to say fade to black, but like, they didn't really try to stay around. Like you see a lot of athletes, current, that are like, oh, I'm gonna do a podcast or I'm gonna be on the network. Now Eric does some stuff here for, the team, right? But it's not like the major network stuff, right? So it's just that if you weren't here in the Vegas area or you're not a Raiders fan, you may not understand that or know that. And, Antonio, Sterling, all could have done that in their local markets. And I know some of them have like done like, I think the Pac-12, like the college stuff, but not really pushed it to where, you're looking at what Tony Romo's done, right? Or what Tom Brady's looking to do. So it's interesting, like you said, for them to come back into this former shell or this former identity,
right?
And then, like for them to hopefully have peace and just enjoy that.
It's funny. I was just talking to my dad about this not too long ago.
Shout out to Pops.
Shout out to Pops. When I started playing basketball, some of my years playing basketball, my head coach as like second to like 6th or 7th grade was Louis Wright. And Louis Wright was like, he's on the Broncos Ring of Fame. He was one of the dogs, a 6'4" corner who is like, his name is next to John Elway, like on the Ring of Fame.
On ring, yeah.
But like, if you didn't know it, you could just, he had a little, he drew like a little Geo Metro car, and he was, pretty like, what I'm saying? Like he was coaching youth basketball, right? And then at the same time, you see his teammate in the same locker room, John Elway or Tom Jackson, who was on, prime time for a long time. And you say like, how did that, how did some fade to black and how did some do something else? So I just always wonder like what that mental, because you have to be a little bit of like these are superior athletes. These are superior minds when it comes to getting to the top of the top and then Hall of Fame at that.
Yeah,
like,
man.
That's got to be a lot of emotion. So I from, like I said, my man to man, I just really feel my heart goes out to them. I just pray that they all, feeling well mentally on it.
And it's a big adjustment, right? So now it's like, it's not Sterling Sharpe, it's Hall of Famer. Like that's like Mr. and Mrs. or Doctor or what, that title now becomes a part of your moniker, and it could ignite some different things. So yeah, man, like you said, man to man, really hope that they go through like this adjustment, feel the celebration, and take this journey. This is a new journey, a new kind of chapter, right?
All right, for sure.
Well, cool, man. So I haven't protested it. I'm just a little upset about the process. So, after you listen to this episode, or like I said, if you have this episode in the background playing while you're watching watching the game, excited for football to kind of get here, ready for the season, ready to see what these teams do. MH, final words before we get out of here.
No, football's here, man. So looking forward to a fantastic season. I think there's going to be some success down where they were the star, and here in Las Vegas, I think there's going to be some really good football played in those two markets. So looking forward to sharing with everything. And then Coach Prime, man, I'll say it here, man. We went in the Big 12 conference over there. So
there it is. There it is. He's God's favorite over there. So I'm just going to be on the wait and see for my Steelers. If you haven't or you don't remember, we did a whole episode on Aaron Rodgers, and
yeah, it's gonna be fun, man.
We can call it that.
Well, y'all gave us they gave us the crash out, so like y'all should be good. The locker room vibe should be immaculate, right?
All right, we'll see. Like I said, I'm on a week to week, so get at me week to week. Thank you guys for checking in, tuning in. We got the live show coming, wrapping up this month. Yeah, man, another episode, brother. Like, I just want to thank everybody, for the birthday wishes, living a whole another day around. Yeah, absolutely, man. I appreciate that. Man. Appreciate it. Another year around the sun, so love to see it. And exciting times, man. So please, if you like the show, please share it. We drop new shows every Thursday. So make sure you subscribe, share, like, give us feedback and comments on what you want to hear. And have you ever been to Enshrinement Weekend? Let us know if you've ever been, what you liked about it, what you didn't like about it. I don't know if we'll ever do a live remote, man, unless, my paycheck, when my check and savings work, that changes up. But we'll figure it out, though. We'll figure it out. All right. Well, hey, like we always say, man, please stay safe, practice gratitude, and know we're rooting for you.
Screaming, all us blacks got is sports and entertainment until we even.
Assuming I'm rooting for everybody that's black. Yeah. Yeah. Assuming I'm rooting for everybody that's black. Yo. Look. Assuming I'm rooting for everybody that's black. Spent about 2 racks on handmade new rags. Assuming I'm rooting for everybody that's black. That's everybody from sports to college class to rap.